We go to news now from the courts. Convicted gang leader Blackman Bryan today admitted that he is the leader of the Jones Avenue criminal network that committed crimes including murder and...
We done talking, one done, and there's no other done, any other than a Clarin done.
Bryan spoke for approximately 7 minutes.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com.
Up first this evening, one of the island's most wanted men was shot dead during a police operation this afternoon.
Nesta Bigga Crime Morrison, who is known to reside on the border of St. Andrew and St. Thomas, apparently had been hiding in Clarendon where he met his demise.
And as Anthony Lugnar reports, he'd been eluding the police for over a year.
Nesta Bigga Crime Morrison has been eluding the police for over 2 years.
Jamaica, with its rich cultural heritage and stunning natural beauty, faces a significant challenge that contrasts sharply with its idyllic image, a pervasive influence of organized crime. At the heart of this issue are the notorious gang leaders, or dons, who command a power that often rivals and in some areas supersedes that of the state itself. These figures have not only shaped the criminal landscape of the island, but have also woven themselves into the socio-political tapestry, blurring the lines between lawlessness and governance. This narrative delves into the lives of 5 of Jamaica's most feared gangsters, whose reigns of terror have left indelible marks on the communities they controlled and the nation as a whole.
Jubilant supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party celebrate an overwhelming victory. "Ah, Eddie, we ready," they chant. Their leader, Edward Seaga, is the new Prime Minister. His party has captured 51 of the 60 seats in the Jamaican Parliament. For Seaga, the campaign had been one to rid Jamaica of the cancer of radicalism.
In Jamaica, there's a big problem with gangs that are tied to politics. A long time ago, political groups such as JLP and PNP wanted to win votes in certain areas, so they made friends with gang leaders in poor parts of Kingston, the capital city. These areas, called Garrison communities, are like little kingdoms run by gangs. The gangs got weapons and acted like they were in charge, which led to a lot of crime. Researchers found out that these gangs don't just cause trouble. They also act like many governments. They help people by giving them money for school or finding them jobs, kind of like what the government should do. But they also demand money from businesses for protection, which isn't fair. The gangs got more powerful when they started trading drugs like cocaine instead of just local marijuana. This made the violence and crime even worse. A big moment that showed how deep the connection between gangs and politics was when the US wanted to take a gang leader named Christopher Dudisco to court. It caused a lot of drama and showed that gangs and politics are really mixed up in Jamaica. Today, gangs still have a lot of power in Jamaica, and it's a big issue for the country. People are trying to figure out how to deal with it, but it's complicated because of the history and how deep the problem goes. Donald Phipps, better known as Zeeks, was a significant figure in the criminal landscape of Kingston, Jamaica, particularly within the Matthews Lane area. His criminal activities led to his arrest and subsequent life imprisonment for the double murder of Rodney Farquharson and Dayton Williams, who were brutally killed and their bodies set on fire in 2005. The police investigation linked Zeeks to the crime through a trail of bloodstains from a building on Matthews Lane to the site where the bodies were found. Zeeks' appeal against his life sentence was dismissed, confirming his conviction for the murders, which involved beating, torturing, and shooting the victims in Matthews Lane before burning their bodies in downtown Kingston. The evidence against him included cell site analysis, which helped establish his location at the time of the murders. Zeeks' arrest and conviction were significant due to his feared status and the control he wielded in the Matthews Lane area. His activities had previously triggered major demonstrations, highlighting his influence and the impact of his criminal operations on the community. The sentencing of Zeeks was viewed as a crucial victory for law enforcement in their efforts to combat gang violence and organized crime in Jamaica. Michael Forbes, also known as Lassie, was associated with the infamous Shower Posse, a gang with origins in Jamaica and notorious for its violent activities, especially during its peak years. The Shower Posse is well known for its involvement in drug and arms smuggling, with operations that stretched from Jamaica to various parts of the United States. Forbes, as part of this gang, was implicated in drug trafficking operations that contributed significantly to the Shower Posse's reputation for violence and expansive criminal network during the 1980s and 1990s. The Shower Posse, under the leadership figures such as Lester Lloyd Coke and later his son Christopher Dudis Coke, was responsible for a large number of violent crimes, including murders and shootings, which were often related to their drug trafficking activities. The gang's name, Shower Posse, is derived from their reputed willingness to shower bullets on their enemies. The international law enforcement efforts to dismantle the Shower Posse and bring its members to justice, including individuals like Michael Forbes, underscore the global scale of the challenges posed by organized crime groups originating from Jamaica. These efforts highlight the need for cross-border collaboration to effectively combat such networks that not only impact Jamaica, but also extend their criminal reach internationally.
Members of the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force, JAG-TF, yesterday seized 3 guns and more than 120 rounds of ammunition following a raid in Bull Bay, St. Andrew. They went in search of reputed gang leader Nesta Morrison, otherwise called Bigga Crime, and his alleged lieutenant known only by his alias Fireblaze. The law enforcement team is appealing to anyone with information on the wanted men to contact the police. Nika Lewis reports.
Nesta Morrison, otherwise called Bigga Crime, has been on the police's radar for some time, but more recently he's been under the microscope.
The police have renewed its call for St. Thomas's most wanted man to surrender. 29-year-old Nesta Morrison is wanted for several serious crimes to include murder, shooting, and arson. Pauline Bowen has more.
As crime continues to plague the once peaceful parish, St. Thomas, the police are renewing their efforts to clamp down on criminals who continue to disrupt peace and invoke fear in residents. This has led to a renewed call for the parish's most wanted man, 29-year-old Nesta Morrison, to turn himself in. Morrison, who is more popularly known as Grimy Boss or Bigga Crime, has been listed as a wanted man several times.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome to those of you watching on OneSpotMedia.com.
Up first this evening, one of the island's most wanted men was shot dead during a police operation this afternoon.
Nesta Bigga Crime Morrison, who is known to reside on the border of St. Andrew and St. Thomas, apparently had been hiding in Clarendon where he met his demise.
And as Anthony Lugnar reports, he'd been eluding the police for over a year.
Nesta Bigga Crime Morrison has been eluding the police for over 2 years.
I wish to confirm to the Jamaican people that Nesta Morrison, OC Bigga Crime, of 11 miles Bull Bay, which is the border of St. Thomas, was fatally shot during an intelligence-led operation by the security forces in Longville Park, Clarendon.
Wayne Smith, also known as Bigga Crime, was a notorious figure and the alleged leader of the Tanquil Hill Gang, operating primarily in the Bull Bay area, spanning the border of St. Andrew and St. Thomas in Jamaica. His criminal activities, which included a reign of terror over the local population, were marked by extreme violence, including murders. Bigga Crime was particularly infamous for his involvement in various crimes such as double murder, and was known for causing havoc in the 11 miles area of Bull Bay, St. Thomas. His notoriety escalated to the point where he became one of Jamaica's most wanted men. The pursuit of Bigga Crime by law enforcement was intense and involved a joint anti-gang task force that utilized various resources, including aerial surveillance and K9 units, in an effort to capture him. Despite several opportunities given to him to surrender peacefully, he continued to evade capture, leading to a 2-year-long manhunt. His hideouts were raided by the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force, which discovered evidence of recent occupation, including firearms, ammunition, and other incriminating materials. Although he managed to escape these encounters, Bigga Crime's violent spree and the fear he instilled in the communities he operated within came to an end when he was fatally shot by security forces in Longville Park, Clarendon, during an intelligence-driven operation. His death was seen as a significant victory for law enforcement and brought relief to the communities that had been terrorized by his action. Deputy Commissioner of Police Phipps noted that Bigga Crime's demise marked an end to the terror he inflicted on the citizens of Bull Bay and its surroundings, emphasizing the positive impact on the community's safety and well-being.
During the Uchence Wilson gang trial, it was established that the gang members were operating as a criminal organization with the intent to commit several criminal acts, namely burglary and larceny. It was also established that the men carried out some of those serious crimes, and it was also borne out in court that Uchence Wilson was the leader. First up, two government witnesses in the trial who were also gang members told the court that most of the items of value from the robbery spree were sold to a business place in the corporate area. Well, Archie, the witness told the court today that he visited several police stations and even the commissioner's office to report the activities of the Uchence Wilson gang, but no one took him serious. The witness says when he related the story of how ruthless the gang was to a police officer at the commissioner's office, the person he spoke with did not take a statement and told him the case was too big and that they can't manage it. He says police personnel at the commissioner's office told him, quote, "The robberies sound like a make-up story because there were too many." He says when he reported the matter at several other police stations, he was told they did not think his story was credible. The main accused, Uchence Wilson and Dean Smith, were both freed of firearm charges. But that doesn't mean that Wilson and Smith will walk free. Wilson still faces over 20 other charges, while Smith faces 3.
After 9 months, the Uchence Wilson gang trial ended today with the established leader Uchence Wilson facing more than 20 years in prison for at least being the leader of a criminal organization. Mr. Wilson was found guilty on several charges by the trial judge, Chief Justice Bryan.
In October, Wilson was convicted on 10 of the 34 charges brought against him. Today, the judge sentenced Wilson to 114 years for all 10 convictions. But Wilson won't spend all that time in prison. Instead, he will only spend 26 years behind bars because the judge has ordered that he should serve all sentences at the same time.
Because of our normal practice in our corrections departments of 2/3, that you would have a 1/3 reduction on your sentence for good behavior, then he could be out in 17 years.
Uchence Wilson, reputed to be the leader of the Uchence Wilson gang, has been associated with a string of criminal activities across Jamaica. His gang, known for its organized structure, specialized in armed robberies, targeting both businesses and individuals. The gang's operations extended beyond simple theft to include firearms trafficking and extortion, showcasing a sophisticated network that facilitated their criminal endeavors across several parishes. Wilson's arrest brought to light the significant challenges Jamaica faces in combating organized crime groups. These gangs, deeply embedded within certain communities, pose a considerable threat not just due to their criminal activities, but also because of their ability to influence community dynamics and instill fear among residents. The trial of Wilson and his gang members highlighted the judiciary's efforts to address such organized crime networks, underscoring the ongoing battle against criminal entities that disrupt societal peace and stability. The legal proceedings against Wilson and his associates have been a focal point in Jamaica's broader strategy to dismantle organized crime syndicates and restore safety to affected communities.
Structured criminal organization with an alleged leader, Blackman Bryan, meant to ensure his safety, top-tier members and foot soldiers who carried out various attacks after being instructed. At one point, the reputed gang leader allegedly became furious with his foot soldiers, this after 3 failed attempts to murder a man. According to the prosecution's witness, Bryan accused the men of being idle as they knew where the target was, yet still the man identified as Dooley was still breathing.
Blackman Bryan guilty on count 1 of the indictment, being the leader of the notorious One Don Klansman.
Alleged leader of the One Don gang, Blackman Bryan, has professed his innocence, stating he has never been involved in any gang activities or ordered the murder of anyone.
We go to news now from the courts. Convicted gang leader Blackman Bryan today admitted that he is the leader of the Jones Avenue criminal network that committed crimes including murder and arson in Spanish Town and its environs.
Is it done talking? One done, and there's no other done, any other than a Clarin done.
Blackman Bryan, associated with the Klansman Gang, has been a significant figure in the criminal landscape of Spanish Town, Jamaica. As the alleged leader, Bryan has been implicated in a range of illicit activities, including extortion, drug trafficking, and violent confrontations with rival factions. His leadership is notable not just for the criminal endeavors, but also for the gang's involvement in politically charged violence, which has further destabilized the community and heightened concerns about safety and security. Bryan's infamy is compounded by the gang's deep-seated influence in the area, which extends beyond mere criminal activities to affect the socio-political fabric of Spanish Town. The gang's involvement in such activities under Bryan's alleged leadership underscores the complex interplay between organized crime and local politics in Jamaica, making the Klansman Gang a central figure in discussions about crime and law enforcement in the region. Recent developments have seen Bryan and several gang members facing legal proceedings, marking a significant move by Jamaican authorities to dismantle the gang's operations. The trial and subsequent sentencing of Bryan and his associates are viewed as a crucial step in combating the pervasive influence of organized crime in Jamaica, although the long-term impact on the gang's activities and a broader criminal landscape remains to be seen. The stories of these 5 gang leaders underscore a broader narrative of struggle and resilience in the face of organized crime in Jamaica. Their legacies, defined by violence, fear, and at times political influence, highlight the critical need for continued and collaborative efforts to dismantle the power structures that allow such individuals to thrive. The fight against gang dominance is not just about law enforcement, it's about reclaiming communities and restoring a sense of safety and stability to the lives of Jamaicans. As the nation moves forward, it carries the heavy burden of its past, but also the hope for a future where the rule of law prevails over the law of the gun.